Oh
Yeah.
my God, you have two things of ice cream. What the hell?
Yeah, I want to rock you out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, no, wait. I love you dearly, but this is not opened, and
Well,
that's. Would you, love of my life, give me just like a cupful? Because we are about to start. I think we're streaming now, actually.
Yeah, we're actually streaming now. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I have the best husband ever.
And we are collectively Glib Shark. Jack is away doing family things, I can assume. So he will not be with us this week. But we do have the lovely, the talented, the amazing Obo Crazy here to do a little something we call This Week in Geek. Hi, Obo.
I'm super happy because Luke just got me mint chocolate chip ice cream. So, I mean, what is best in life, Conan? It's not the lamentations of the women and seeing your enemies driven before you. It's mint chocolate chip ice cream brought to you by the man that you love, or the woman that you love, or whoever. Just someone who loves you, bringing you the thing that you want the most in life at that very moment. I have no transition to This Week in Geek, so let's just begin. Jonathan, you have a very lovely name, and your very lovely name is shared by quite a few people.
Some
it's a
of
very
which
common
spell
name.
it incorrectly.
It is spelled a multitude of ways. I will not say whether it is correct or incorrect. But let me ask you, if you had to guess what was the fastest rising or the fastest growing boy's name in the United States for 2016, what would you guess?
I would guess, because I actually do know the answer to this, so I'm gonna go ahead and say Finn.
Well, you've proven that you know that you are very well aware of this this story. Sorry, Luke just handed me the bowl of ice cream, and now I'm excited. So not Finn, no, but Kylo. That's right. Kylo is the fastest growing boy's name in the U.S. according to the Social Security Administration, who they release an annual list every single year of popular baby names. Kylo ended 2015 at spot 3,269 and became the fastest growing boy's name in 2016 by jumping 2,368 spots. So it's now within the first 1,000. So we're not talking like top 10 or anything. Let's not go crazy. But still, I mean, first off, it's a Star Wars name. It's a Star Wars name that isn't, say, Luke or something that you can get away with as not an obvious Star Wars reference. It's also the name of the bad guy, which is super interesting in my opinion. We'll have to see whether as more movies come out, if it gets even more and more popular. Maybe, I mean, we've already seen some of the stuff Kylo has done, and he's done some bad things, and still it's a popular baby name. So my question is, if he has a redemption arc, does his name's popularity go down, or the worse he becomes as a villain, the better his name gets? I don't know. We'll have to wait for next year just to see. What you don't have to wait for is Mr. Rogers. If you are like me, and I know I am, you remember Mr. Rogers vividly. I was more of a Sesame Street person, but I think Mr. Rogers was amazing. Fred Rogers was an inspiration, and he did 886 awesome episodes for PBS. And yesterday, as of this recording, so Monday, May 15th, Twitch started broadcasting every single episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That's right, all 886 of them. Twitch says the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood streaming marathon will include many episodes that have only aired once or are unavailable elsewhere online. Not only is it a chance to relive some good educational kids programming, the marathon is actually a opportunity to help PBS. Twitch is making it pretty easy to donate straight to a local PBS station. There's also opportunity to win some Fred Rogers swag if you are a streamer on Twitch and you host the marathon on your channel. You are entered into a giveaway for 100 exclusive Twitch cardigans, which is obviously what Mr. Rogers wore all the time. The marathon is going to be lasting about 18 days. So from listening to this, you should have plenty of time to at least catch some of it. And while you are watching it, you get access to emotes based on the characters from the show, a lot of the puppets. And, it's kind of like when they did the Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. It's like, it's nostalgic and it's happy and it feels good and it's positive and it's something that is warm and fuzzy and makes you just happy to watch, which, you know what, nowadays a lot of us kind of need a moment and a place to go to just be happy and content. Also, this is a chance to remember that you can donate to your local PBS station and all of the good stuff that PBS has done throughout the years and why that's a good thing. Finally, we're going to go from the super G, the super, super safe for kids and work and school and everything, to the exact opposite. Hey, are you watching American Gods on Stars? Jonathan, are you watching American Gods on Stars?
No, because I don't have Stars.
Yeah, I don't either, and I really want to because it's based on the Neil Gaiman book, American Gods, and by all accounts, it's kind of awesome. And then I saw this headline, and this headline kind of makes me want to subscribe to Stars, even though I don't even have a cable subscription, just so that I can watch this show instead of waiting for it to come out on some kind of streaming service. Brian Fuller demanded a reshoot of the American Gods gay sex scene because it wasn't gay enough. That's right. There was a gay sex scene in American Gods, which anyone who's read the book, that shouldn't be a surprise. But apparently the original version wasn't gay enough. When American Gods showrunner Brian Fuller saw a cut of the epic gay sex scene in last Sunday's episode, he's basically said, nope, this isn't gay enough. Go back and reshoot that. And basically the reasoning behind it is that, with the exception of Mr. Brian Fuller, everybody who was actually in the room for the initial shoot are heterosexual. None of them are gay. So while they tried their best, and they certainly put passion into it, it wasn't quite up to the task. And Brian Fuller has said in interviews that this specific scene between a salesman and a genie, essentially, with them having love in a New York City hotel room, was of the, why do you want to do this book as a TV show? Can you name off parts of the book that inspired you? This was one of those main things. And it's, he mentions, because it's a hot gay sex scene, but it's also one of the relationships in the book that is at its most pure and loving and beautiful. And so it's a romantic gesture and it's kind of a beautiful thing in the book, and that he wanted to capture that moment and have it be visual and gorgeous and inspiring and not gay porn. So yeah, hey, if you have Stars, go enjoy this scene, because this sounds like it was kind of awesome, and now I really, really, really want to see this show. And also, I just love that headline. I think it's the best headline ever of all time. That's all for this week in Geek. I'm Oboe Crazy, and I have mint chocolate chip ice cream.
The world is indeed a strange, minty place. And if you have a fact you want read live and on the air, hit us up at Glibshark or at Oboe Crazy for Oboe Crazy directly, me at Road_Block, or at Jack Edithil for Mr. Jingaship, who is not here but is with us in spirit. So if you're watching us right now, and very few of you likely are, we are streaming some Player Unknown Battlegrounds, which is this hot new game that has just come onto the scene. It is pretty phenomenal. I have just started playing it, and it's wonderful. Like, it's one of those games where after you play it for a little while, you think about playing it, and that's how good it is. You're pretty much always thinking about it all the time.
Now, for those who have not heard of this game, what is it? If you could describe it in a few words or less.
Okay, so Player Unknown's Battleground is a shooter. It is sort of massively multiplayered in that each instance is 100 players, And what it is a survival game. It is literally battle royale, like the Japanese movie, where a bunch of kids get put onto an island. They are manipulated by the environments of the island, so they have to keep moving and getting closer in on each other to inspire combat and inspire conflict. And this game is pretty much that. You parachute onto an island with about 100 other players. You have an area that of play that gets smaller and smaller. And if you are outside of that area, you die. And you basically, once you drop in, you have to pick up guns and stuff. Like you don't drop in with any weapons at all. Everything you find is what you get.
Now, there's a couple, just watching you play this, there's a couple of differences. One, you aren't playing as children.
You are not
you
children,
are
no.
actually, yeah, you're actually an adult. And I mean, there's no plot, right? There's no overarching narrative.
There's no plot. The plot is you drop onto an island and kill each other. That is the plot.
Now, it looks like you're playing in third person. Do you have third person, first person options?
Yes, there are advantages to either, depending on what situation it is you're in. I find that I like to go first person if I have a weapon and I'm clearing a building, but just about any other situation I like being in third, because you can do stuff like this where you're running a certain direction but you can move your head around. And so you can run. Finally found a gun. Jesus.
Okay, and so I'm assuming there's melee weapons. There's obviously, if you've just found a gun, there are guns. Are there vehicles?
Yes, there are. There are very few. Finding a vehicle is sort of like finding treasure. A lot of times they do spawn in places that you can kind of figure out. And actually, I do see a buggy in the distance. But I am doing something really stupid. I am running across open ground with only a little bit of armor, no helmet, and only a pistol. So I'm not being smart at the moment. But I really don't have much to lose. It's early in the game. So this is a game where if you die, you are done. There are no lives. You don't have actually very much life. When you die, you're done. And you get to. What's neat about this game, though, is that you don't have to wait for this game to be done. Once you die and you're out, you can just queue back up into a brand new game. And so we are coming up on a vehicle here. This is the little dune buggy, and we are going to drive it.
Now you're obviously playing in the 1 versus 100, I guess, but there is a version of this that's team based, right?
Yes, you can. There are 3 different ways you can queue up. You can queue up in singles, like I am, solo. You can queue up in duos. So everyone in your game is going to be a duo. They don't do any mixing, I don't think. There's no like duos and solos or duos and squads or anything like that. And that's actually the other option is squads. So we're going to go ahead and check out these buildings over here. Again, super dangerous considering how lightly armed we are. This is actually one game where there's a lot of realism. It is by a designer of a mod for DayZ, which very much was like this here. Let's grab that Uzi here. It's still not great, but it's better than nothing. And oh, yes. Okay. So any gun you pick up is not loaded. So the first thing you have to do is load any gun that you grab. I don't have any rifles, which makes me sad at the moment. So that is what I'm looking for now. But I am pretty heavily armored right now. I have a helmet. I have a level 2 vest. Basically, the gear gets better as you go closer to the center of the map. And there are a few exceptions for that. Also, there are drops that happen every once in a while. And those can yield some very nice gear. We're gonna pick this stuff up here. Grab all this ammo. Again, no rifle, but we'll deal. We have a vehicle, so we're pretty good.
Now it seems like you've been playing for quite a while and not seen anybody. Is this normal or is this
Yes.
weird?
So it actually, that's one of the nice things about this game is that uh, you can play however you want. You can do what I've been doing. You can kind of like stick to the outskirts, not really engage heavily, or you can jump right into the thick of it. You can jump into the middle, like in the Hunger Games it was the cornucopia. You can go right in there and get into a massive fight right away. In those kind of fights, the melee weapons are a lot more important, and your fists are a lot more important. There's actually a flying punch you can do that's pretty handy. Oh, I see another car, and I don't know if that's mine or not. I am actually playing without sound right now because I don't want the sound coming through here. So I don't know if someone's shooting at me yet. Pretty much, and that's just kind of something I'm doing right now. Normally, I would have my sound and be paying attention to it. But yeah, it's oh nice. Oh, I found something good.
Well, and the stream is catching up a little bit, so we'll be finding out what you found good, yeah, momentarily. And how is the shooting? Does it feel good? Does it feel tight? Is it?
The shooting feels pretty tight. I actually quite like the shooting. Yeah, we'll stick with this. We'll actually put this on here for now. The shooting feels actually really good. It gets a little loosey-goosey sometimes because it is such a big play area and there are lots of things going on, but it's pretty good. Like I've kind of gotten used to the tightness that is Mass Effect Andromeda. And I know a lot of people don't like calling Mass Effect Andromeda a shooter, but it does have really tight shooting mechanics, and that's good. And this game has pretty tight ones as well. You land your shots.
I would totally call Andromeda a shooter, mostly because of the character that I play as. I play as a tech sniper, so shooting is super important to me. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're playing Andromeda as a biotic god, then no,
As
you're
a Jedi.
doing very exactly. If you're a Jedi, you're not doing much shooting. You're warping places. You're throwing black holes. You're doing that kind of thing.
Ooh. But I actually like my stuff, so I'm not going to pick up any of this. So yes, it is a pretty fantastic game so far. I have quite enjoyed it. I actually haven't been playing that long. I only picked this up a few days ago, and that was largely due to our good friend Jamie, aka Calamity Jamie, and she had been playing it some on her stream, and I know a lot of other streamers have been playing it. I saw the Yogscast they've been doing it for a while, but I just finally saw one of their first streams in this, and oh my god, it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I've actually been hearing mostly about this game. This is kind of the first time I've seen more than just a few clips. But I listened to the Giant Bombcast, and they have been very happy with this game, especially with the fact that it is technically it is early access. But they've talked a lot about it, about how much fun they've been having with it and how impressed they are with it in the state that it's in, and how they keep saying this could kind of be a full release and they would be happy. So I'm interested. Sadly, I don't have a computer that can run anything like this. I'm pretty much a console gamer, but I'm glad to hear that this is going really well, and it looks kind of cool. It looks it's a lot more graphical fidelity than I was imagining.
Yeah, it does really well, and it's one of those games I think that you could play it on a lot of different machines. I think that may have been what they were going for. I think it's pretty scalable, which is nice. I have enjoyed it quite a lot, and I have found myself thinking about this game when I'm not playing it. And given how little action there is a lot of the times, I mean, like, at least for me, it's a lot of farming for stuff. It actually, in that way, it sort of reminds me of League of Legends in that there is a big, like, farming phase where you're just kind of like, you're just picking up kills in lane, you're gathering gold to buy better stuff, and then you get into these team fights. And very much the team fights in League of Legends or the fights you get in here remind me of that, because they're very quick, and if you have never run into someone until like late in the game, it's very possible that you'll get killed pretty quickly. So I could see where someone might get frustrated, but I think one thing that this game has going for it in spades is that it's really easy to just pick up and play. Like you can play a quick 20-minute game and you're just fine. Like you're good. And then you go back, you just queue back in. And I think that's phenomenal.
Well, and I think it's very smart that if you are playing by yourself and you die, that the game doesn't require you to stand around and wait for it to end before you can move on to a different game. That you can just be like, all right, and queue up for a different game. I think that's perfect, because that's one of the reasons that in general I don't play games that involve permadeath, as it were, and where you have you only have the one life, because I want to play the game. I love Halo, and yes, there are modes in where you die and that's it, but the vast majority of the time you die and you have to respawn after a couple seconds. And so it's a little bit of a penalty, but it's not like, I carved out an hour or two to play some Halo tonight and I'm going to spend half that time sitting there watching other people play because I happen to get a bum spawn, or I happen to not be that good tonight and I got killed. So I think that helps with that pain point of, this, because this seems like the type of game with 100 people in it, and with the amount of time you've just been running around and haven't even seen anybody, that you could end up conceivably in a game that could last 20-25 minutes. And if you're one of the first people to die, that's a lot of time to just sit around watching. So it's good that you can just jump out and play.
Yeah. That is one of the strengths of the game. If you're dying a lot, then guess what? You have lots of opportunities to play.
and hone your skills and do something different. Because if you're dying a lot, you're probably doing something wrong. At least that's my opinion. If I ever have those nights where I'm dying a lot, sometimes I'm just having a bad night, and every once in a while it's bad luck, but it's usually, I'm just not being smart about how I play. I'm just doing dumb shit. If I could stop doing the dumb shit, I will survive longer.
Yeah, and this game definitely has that too. I mean, if you want to, you can just roll into the middle where everyone else is jumping out. It's kind of cool. Like, if you look at the plane as it's going along, you can see people as they jump out. And that is a lot of fun. Oh, shit! Oh, I fell off the ledge, and I was very lucky I didn't hurt myself.
There is fall damage in this game.
There is. Damage is pretty nasty. You can only bandage so much before you have to take something like a painkiller to heal the rest. I'm in a bit of trouble here. I faffed around too much, and the blue death is about to envelop the area I'm in. There's a car not far from me, but it's going to be close. And if I'm in a situation where if I run into anyone, I'm not going to be able to fight very effectively, because I'm going to be essentially like, get out, get out, get out, get out. Oh, fuck. I am boned. I'm boned a little. So these cars that I thought were here were totally not. And so I have to find my dune buggy that I left. That hopefully someone didn't jack.
Can you run faster than the Blue Death?
Initially, yes. Although now that it has passed me, I'm in a bit of a bind. Oh, there's my buggy. Gotta get to my buggy. Fuck this goddamn wall. Okay. Just get in my buggy. I'm hurt pretty badly. And, oh, God, I'm going to kill myself with this. Okay. Oh, shit. And the Blue Death actually gets worse. So initially, it's pretty manageable. Like, I'll be okay here. In fact, I'll probably be okay enough that if I wanted to, I could go for the actual car that's sitting over there. But at this point, I just kind of want to get out of here and find a place to hole up. And there's another car right there too that I could grab. But the buggy is fine. I'll grab another car at some point, hopefully. I just need to find a place to kind of hole up for a bit. But yes, as you go on, the Blue Death gets faster and more deadly. Oh, that's right there.
Which makes sense for this type of game. I mean, that's kind of the way these type of games work, is that everything gets closer and faster and meaner and deadlier, and, you know, kind of trying to convince you not to just camp, I would assume.
Yeah. It's very much designed to bring about an end to the game.
And so how long do most games last on average?
On average, I've played anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes.
Okay.
It's pretty reasonable.
Not just reasonable, but if you manage to not be one of the first people killed and survive for a little bit into the game, it's a chunk of time. I see why you actually compare it to League of Legends.
Well, League of Legends, you can surrender at 20, and that's like the minimum a game would last, assuming that everything else is equal. But this, like, that's sort of the nominal game time. Nominal to long game would be 20, 25 minutes. I'm actually going to go grab this motorcycle here. It's probably a bad choice, but
sometimes you just have to look cool.
And like I said, your guns are empty when you get them. They're also, interestingly enough, always set to... Oh, I got on the backseat of the fucking bike. They're also, interestingly, always set to single fire. So you have to actually set your weapon to either burst or auto fire, depending on what weapon you have. And that's one cool thing about this game, right as it is right now, is that there's not a ton of weapons. So since everyone is kind of new, having like lots and lots of weapons would kind of be like, oh well, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. But the fact that there are so few means that you kind of get the hang of the ones. Because honestly, at least the way I play, I don't shoot a whole lot because, as you've seen, I try and avoid combat for a while. Ooh, okay. Let's make some decisions here. So we're going to put this 4x scope right there. We're going to put the red dot sight there. Okay, so now I pretty much have a sniper weapon, which is good. The M16 that I'm rolling, I have used as a sniper before, and it's actually pretty effective. I am going to switch it to single fire now.
Now, is this the kind of game in where you get points for killing people, or
Yes.
is the only goal be the last person standing?
From what I've seen, and I'm sure this is wrong, because every time I fucking talk about a game on this show that I'm just starting, like Destiny, it turns out, no, I'm wrong about everything. You do get points for killing. You do get points for how you rank, as in where you finish in the game, and those points are substantial. You also get points for just damaging people. Like if you do massive damage to someone, then then you do get quite a few points for that.
Okay, so it is possible to essentially win the game by points but not be the last person standing?
You don't necessarily win. So like other sort of MMORPG games, you don't really... Oh, shit, I'm in a bad zone. What? I didn't even... Oh, shit. I'm in a bad zone. Where did I park my motorcycle?
You're in a bad zone?
Yeah,
Are you in the danger zone?
I am literally in the danger zone. Need to get back out onto the road. And if I wasn't such a shitty driver... You saw my driving the other day, and you know it's terrible, so...
Listen, my driving ain't much better in games, so I'm not going to critique.
Oh my god, I am getting so fucked up. Which way do I need to go? Oh wow, the area is super closing in now. That's actually one of the things that does limit how long the games last is... Oh shit, I flipped my bike. Fuck me, I'm dead. Because I got hurt by the bike, And now I'm on foot because it's flipped. Yep, I'm dead. I'm just going to squeeze off some rounds because... Yep. Ah. Oh, that was stupid.
It happens. God, and here you played for like 15, 20 minutes. We didn't see anybody.
Nope. And the circle had gotten super small. So I definitely would have seen someone if I had lasted just a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see, you can actually, I haven't exited out to the lobby, so I can see how many people were left. And like 3 people just died in rapid succession. So
they were probably in the same situation you were.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the nice thing is that because the area closes in, like even though I was faffing about, I was about to have to fight a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now I had the gear for it. So, and that's actually a pretty interesting observation about this game is that there's a couple of ways to get gear. You can either farm the long farm like I did, or you can hop in and just start killing people right away. And you would get a lot of kill points for that, but who knows how long you would actually last. But
yeah.
From what I understand, it is a really, really good way to get practice with the guns. Is just hop into where a ton of people are going to be, find any gun, and just go to town.
Nice. Well, it sounds like fun, and definitely if you end up playing with some of our friends, some of the it's not co-op, but the team play, I'd love to hear about that too.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to play with other people. I actually played a little bit with our friend Goober. We set up a date to play. Like he sent me a message saying, "Hey, you want to play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. That sounds good." And then we just didn't end up playing because it got to be too late. But I'm like, "Yes, we will definitely play."
Well, and hopefully if this game does well enough, the creators will think about bringing it to console, and then I can play because I don't have a computer right now.
This would be like, so there are a lot of console shooters like Overwatch. I've played on both PC and console, and I feel like I get a pretty decent experience either way. And it, like with the console, I definitely play with more friends, but I sort of like the mouse and keyboard mechanics of the PC, obviously. So it's 2 different experiences. This I've only experienced on PC. I don't know how well it would translate to a console. I'm sure it would be fine, but there are some fiddly shooty bits that I don't think you would actually that would translate well. I don't think.
Yeah, you'd probably have to or whoever was actually porting it would probably need to work on an optimization kind of thing. However you would go about doing that, like having just basically making it easier for console players in general, because you don't have the same kind of pinpoint accuracy, and whether that's more of a lock-on system, whether that's something like Halo or Gears, and where there's some magnetism behind your reticle. Who knows?
And that's the one thing, is that this game does have a lot of keys. You have separate keys for prone and crouch, so those would have to be consolidated in a console for a controller, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like if everyone had an Elite, it would be less of a problem. But since the Elite isn't the standard, then you have to make adjustments. And I think that would be one of the adjustments. There's a couple of different ways to get to the inventory. There would probably just be one quick inventory key. I mean, everyone pretty much uses tab for inventory in this anyway, but that would probably be the only option in a console version.
But I don't think those are insurmountable odds, especially
no.
considering, Call of Duty has a myriad of different crazy things that you have to be able to do in a multiplayer match, and people seem to enjoy that just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So since Jack isn't here, I wanted to, and listeners, we are going to talk. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh God, there is so much.
Let's talk about that a bit, guys. We're gonna talk some Guardians of the Galaxy, probably for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, there was something in This Week at Geek about that I kind of wanted to mention myself. Oops, I did not mean to eject myself, but I just did. So that happened.
Well, we talked about, it was Fred Rogers, it was baby names, and the gay sex in American Gods. There we go.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So I wanted to talk briefly, just really quick, and rant about Star Wars, not Star Wars, Star Trek. What is it? Discovery. The new Star Trek series that's getting ready to come out.
Which I've heard very little about.
I know that it's got a woman of color as the main character. She's not the captain of the ship, which I thought was pretty cool. And so it's got a lot going for it. It sounds kind of interesting, except for the fact that it is another fucking prequel. We have not advanced the Star Trek timeline since Voyager. And you
can't even really count Voyager because Voyager was just off in its own part of the universe.
Voyager just fucked off and then was just like, oh well, it's we're just kind of doing our own thing here. Yeah.
But I know what you mean about, we haven't gone forward, which I kind of don't mind if they don't go forward in time, because really the heart of Star Trek in general, of those shows, should be about the crew and the exploration. But it is interesting that they decided not to. That is prequel-ish, Do we know if it's set in the new timeline or is it the old timeline?
It is set. I'm not sure. That's the thing. I have no idea, because it's like it's set after Enterprise but before Star Trek proper.
They've actually said that? They've actually clarified that?
Yes.
Then my guess is it's the old timeline, because if they referenced old show, and I mean before the Chris Pine version of Star Trek, then my guess is that it's the old TV timeline.
Well, you say that, but actually in Chris Pine's Enterprise, in that timeline, Enterprise is canon.
Wait.
Because like the fuckery that creates the alternate timeline,
yes,
that happens after Enterprise.
They after Enterprise, the TV show,
after Enterprise, the TV show, they actually reference a character or two characters from Enterprise. They reference Admiral Archer's Beagle.
Yeah, I guess. And so this is supposed to take place before that?
Before that, but after Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty relatively narrow portion of time. For all we know, this could start off in one timeline and switch to the. They could decide mid-season.
It could be a fucking new timeline for all we know. Who fucking knows? My point is that it's ridiculous and I hate it.
Well, I don't know if I hate it or not. I wish they would stick to one or the other.
The other thing that annoys me about it is the fact that it is on CBS's streaming service rather than CBS proper or another Viacom channel.
It's not actually on TV proper. It's only on their streaming.
Only on the streaming.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That's depressing.
I agree.
Why would they only put it on their streaming service?
I don't
and
know.
Not
no one's going to fucking
it?
watch it in that case.
Well, definitely not as many people as if it was on regular. I mean, if I wanted to be super positive about it, I would say this is an indication of your core hardcore old school network TV shows or TV networks finally moving towards what I hope is the one day future, in where they just friggin' stream all of their shows, and then you get to have the chance of an a la carte system where you can choose per show or per channel or whatever. For the longest time, if it wasn't Comedy Central, essentially, if you wanted to see anything streaming, you had to wait for it to show up on Netflix. It just didn't show up anywhere. And so the fact that they would be willing to put what should be a marquee show, with such a recognizable brand on just streaming. Maybe this is a positive sign. Maybe this is them saying we're going to start putting this stuff out there streaming first, with the popularity of people just watching shit on Netflix. And from now on, we're going to move away from the old TV model. And, we know plenty of people who do not have a cable subscription.
Right.
And, and I just talked about it at the beginning of this episode. As much as I love the American Gods book, as much as I really want to see the show, I have no interest in subscribing to any sort of cable package in order to get Stars. I will just keep an eye on it until it inevitably is available in some streaming fashion and grab it from there. So maybe this is the way towards the future.
It's possible, and I definitely wouldn't put it past that. It's just I'm a little disappointed because that just means I'm not going to be watching it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll take a while, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll be interested to see if it's only on streaming. So the CBS app or the CBS streaming service, I'm assuming, is a pay service.
Yes, I believe it's $5 a month.
Okay. Do you have to watch? Are there advertisements in the shows when you watch? Do we know?
I have no idea. I don't subscribe to their current streaming service, so I don't know.
Okay. Because that's the other thing that I'm hoping. I am more than willing to pay for, say, HBO Go per month if it means I get to see shows without ads. I'm not as much of a fan of there's the different Hulu models and where like you could watch stuff for free, but then there's ads, or you could pay like a little bit and then there's still ads. I either give me ads and free or let me pay a little bit of money, but then get rid of the ads, And so I'd be interested to see if it's because that may be the other bad thing if it's not bad thing. So like if you watch Netflix original shows, they don't have to break for commercials. They don't have to stop and have a place that fades out and fades back in for shit. And it makes it a little bit more of a cinematic experience, I guess would be the way I'd put it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is the one problem of regular TV ending up on a streaming service and where suddenly you don't have to watch any ads. That's been my one. I think it's actually a throwback. I don't think this is meant to be real commercial breaks, but have you seen any of the new Mystery Science Theater episodes?
I have not, no.
Okay. We've only seen a couple of episodes so far, but I've really enjoyed them. I thought it is totally within the spirit of the original show. It's the riffing is excellent, and that's all I really care about. Are the riffs funny? It continues to have the same commercial breaks, even though there are no commercials. So there are bumpers.
Oh my God! I just got a vehicle kill.
Oh well, and now I'll pause because the stream is a little bit behind you, which means I get to watch this in anticipation. Oh, I see the person, and
well, now I don't know where his body is.
You ran over so-and-so.
I ran over him, and now I don't know where he is, so I can't loot his shit.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes there is a cost for awesomeness.
Yes, and this time, this is it. I have to get to the safe area here. Anyway, so yes, but you were talking about cinematic experiences, and we have more Guardians of the Galaxy to talk about. Yes.
So it sounds like the last 10 minutes of our show, we're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy with spoilers.
Yeah, let's just talk about spoilers, and let's start now.
Yeah.
We got 15 minutes left, and I imagine there's a lot to talk about. I mean, last time we were talking because we did not have Jenga at the moment, and we were kind of like thinking, okay, in 5 minutes he'll be back, so let's time it.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it was good because we were able to kind of give our basics about it. Okay. God, where do we even begin? Because now I've had a chance to like listen to a little bit of the soundtrack apart from the show, from the movie, and think a little bit more about some of the stuff that happened, and like I don't know when it happened, but um sorry, I'm suddenly like thrown off by the whole 80s nostalgia that has just like that movie is infused with as much as the original sound as the music that's used in Guardians 2 is 70s and 60s and Motown and throwbacks and all kinds of stuff. Star-Lord is quintessential 80s in a lot of ways. And his whole, I used to pretend that my dad was the guy from Knight Rider. Like, that's, that whole thing blew me away. And then that cameo,
cameo was amazing. It really was.
One of the best cameos ever of all time.
Yeah. And there were like you said, I definitely agree that he is, even though a lot of the music that he likes is his mom's music. So and like you pointed out when we were first starting talking about Guardians of the Galaxy way back when, but the fact that he is a child of the 80s means that there are all these great 80s references, and they are, even when Star-Lord is not in the movie, he is definitely that influence is still there. Like with the Sovereign, when you find out that their ships are drones and that they're piloted from an arcade, complete with arcade sounds, that Star-Lord never sees that. But it is definitely in that vein and in that spirit, and it is phenomenal. It is so well done.
I heard an interesting comment on the movie that actually made me think about it in a different way. The original, I was listening to the Geek Show podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts, you know, with the exception of Glib Shark. And they'd started by talking about how all of the characters in this movie, all the main characters, managed to get moments, and, you know, nobody's kind of shortchanged. And they went on to talk about how the scenes between Gamora and Nebula managed to basically shatter the whole Bechdel test thing, and how they have this really interesting relationship that's more than just I want to kill you. And so they're talking about all these relationships and character arcs and character moments, and they said something interesting, which is that Star-Lord, in a way, is not the most important character in the movie. He is the catalyst. He is the focal point. He is the reason that certain things get set off and happen. But he is really just, in a way, like the center plot device. He's got his own little arc, obviously, with his dad and everything. But like, there is so much of this being about the story of all these other characters and the individual things that they're going through that also tie into what the main plot that we're seeing on screen, that it's just kind of fascinating. And I thought about that. I'm like, all right, I could see that. I could totally see him just being, all right, you know, we're going to go have this adventure with my dad, and because of this, all these other things are going to happen. Yeah,
and definitely you mentioned the scenes with Gamora and Nebula. Those were phenomenal. Like from the moment from the moment that Nebula screams out of the sky, firing all her guns at poor Gamora while she's running along on the ground, everything from that to them leaving on the Ravager ship and Gamora trying to convince Nebula to stay, that all of that is just so good.
Yeah. Okay, so if you had to pick a moment, what's your favorite moment from the movie?
Oh, God.
I know this is not easy.
I honestly think it was the revelation of the nature of the drone ships. I thought, because that just tickled the fuck out of me. It's like, holy shit, that's literally an arcade. And then the part where, like, there's the one guy chasing him, and then his ship gets destroyed, and everyone's like, you suck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was just so good.
If I had to pick, so I had two moments. I'm going to cheat. One is, hey, is that Ben Browder? Oh, fuck, that's Ben Browder! Which I know, like, he's not there as a cameo. He's there as an actor playing a small role, but a role. But that moment was like all the cameos in this movie, or all of the guest appearances, I guess you could say, because a lot of them aren't really cameos. I mean, Sylvester Stallone, that's not really a cameo. That's Tango and Cash being reunited, essentially. That's interesting.
I didn't even fucking think about that.
Oh, come on!
I'm serious.
Sylvester Stallone?
It did not occur to me that. Fuck.
That's probably one of my only knocks against the movie, is those two don't have a scene together, as far as I remember.
Nope, I don't think they do. I think you're right.
Which is like, how do you have Tango and Cash in the same movie and you don't, whatever. So anyway, but Ben Browder in the movie was my personal, oh shit, look moment. But my favorite scene is on the Ravager ship, after Rocket and Yondu have finally broken out and they take over. They walk through the ship, basically casually slaughtering everybody.
That's pretty amazing.
And what's the song that's playing? Come a little bit closer.
Come a little bit closer.
Yeah, by Jay and the Americans. It's just and Groot gets a couple, like, you finally get to see baby Groot really. You really kind of understand that, wait a second, all right, this is a young being, but this is not an innocent being. And like the just joyful, casual way that Rocket and Yondu slaughtered dozens of people. And oh god, that scene made me so happy.
Yeah, that was pretty phenomenal.
That was a great scene. And that was, I think, some of the brilliance of the soundtrack of just this movie and the Guardians series in general. The soundtracks have been 100% some of the best parts of the movie. Oh, so happy. But yeah, that's probably my favorite scene right there. And then I cried like a baby at the end.
Yep.
Like a goddamn baby. I bawled my eyes out when he died.
That scene was, my only complaint might be that it's a little drawn out, because as soon as Rocket hands him the spacesuit and arrow rig, you know exactly what's going to fucking happen. But I think it was still so well done. And that's everything from Yondu saying, let me have this, to the ascent into the sky and saying, I may not have been your father, but was definitely your daddy. And it's just, everything was so great. Oh God, I forgot. Mm-hmm. It's bad out there. It's bad. But yeah, everything was so good about that. And then I think this, once again, because we talked about this last time, where Rocket Raccoon is one of the, if not the best CGI characters in recent memory, if not ever. Mm-hmm. This movie ends with the close-up of Rocket tearily watching the Ravager funeral. And I think that's a big win for that character, to have that moment, the last moment in this movie, and to have that much emotion in it. It's so well done. It speaks very highly of the team that created Rocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is now the second movie in this series in where an anthropomorphized raccoon has, if not made me cry, contributed to my crying. Because like that first movie, when Groot sacrifices himself, like, I got choked up a bit, but it wasn't until Rocket is responding, like, they're on the ground and he's distraught because his friend has essentially died. That's the moment that I started crying. And then I was crying at the end of this one when Yondu died, but it wasn't really until the essentially the funeral at the end, and seeing him tear up. And I completely agree. I mean, I do think a little bit of the voice performance is important, but yeah, I mean, the stuff that they're those CGI characters. It doesn't matter that they're CGI. I want Rocket Raccoon to win a fucking Academy Award.
And I think it's sad that, like, you could give it visual effects, but it's unfortunate that that's all it would get.
Yeah. At what point? I mean, we've had that discussion because of Andy Serkis and Gollum a bunch of times now, and not just Gollum, but also with him doing Planet of the Apes. Like,
Yep.
At what point does, and he's even talked about this, about how, yes, you could give Andy Serkis, because at least I don't think Rocket is performance captured. I think he's completely CGI, right?
No, that's actually something that complicates this whole thing. So Sean Gunn, the guy who plays the one really prominent Ravager, like Kragam,
Yeah.
he's the one, at least in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, he was the one that did the performance capture, like the live green-suited maniac that played Rocket. And it was actually an interesting story of that production, because he and Dave Bautista had a really close friendship during the filming. Like, they really got on. And that was, a lot of people feel like that was something that contributed to Rocket and Drax's chemistry, was the fact that those two had such great chemistry.
Okay. For whatever reason, I didn't think that Rocket was performance capture. That he was, but that's interesting. But
And I think it was interesting that it was Sean Gunn. Like, it was someone who, it was the director's brother. And it was like, yeah, he totally
and not the
killed it.
voice actor.
And not the voice actor.
Yeah, which, what can happen. But okay, so that actually then ties it even closer into Gollum, because Andy Serkis has talked about how, yeah, I'm an actor and I'm acting when I'm in that performance suit and I'm acting when I'm doing the voice, and I would like to think that essentially the CGI is like makeup in a way, but it's not just, it's not just makeup. And if you enjoy the performance of Gollum, then credit isn't just for me. It's for all these animators who help bring this character to life. And I think that then Rocket is an apt comparison, because you've got a team of people who are bringing that character to life, and equating the performance capture and the voice actor as the only things making that character believable does a just short changes all the CGI people who are involved in that.
Right, because they're artists contributing to that too.
Yeah. And you need all those people. You need the voice actor, you need the performance capture, and you need the effects artists all working in concert. Because if one of those three parts fail, the whole thing falls apart. It is a three-legged stool, and it will not stand if one part sucks.
Right.
And I think as video game players, we kind of know that intrinsically, because, all it takes for a gorgeously rendered game that is fun to play, all it takes for scorn to be heaped upon it is for the voice acting to be bad. Or if you get awesome voice actors, or you end up with Mass Effect, where you get great voice actors and a fun game, but the visuals suck or have issues, And now I just want to go listen to Come a Little Bit Closer.
I kind of do too. I was talking a little bit Guardians of the Galaxy earlier, and that a friend of mine mentioned that she was listening to that soundtrack, and I'm like, oh, dang, now I've got that music in my head now.
Well, you know what? We've reached 7:00. Why don't we say goodnight? We'll let you go back to being able to hear your game, and
Okay.
I will go onto YouTube and go listen to Come a Little Bit Closer.
And if you have any comments for us, you can reach us on Twitter at GlibShark, individually, once again, at Crazy for her, at Road_Block for me, and at Jack Edithel for Mr. Jack Edithel. And please like and subscribe us on YouTube. Find us on iTunes. Leave us a review. We love hearing reviews, and we love reading the reviews and getting that feedback. We want to listen to all of that. We want to listen to your feedback for Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks, and some exciting stuff is happening there. You really owe it to yourself to listen to Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks, definitely now. But once again, for all of us here at Glib Shark, thank you so much for spending some time with us, and we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Shut everything.
Shut it down. Yes, and I do have to go because I had all that ice cream and now I gotta pee. All right.
Bye.